Coming up on Mountain News at 6, the former Letcher County Sheriff appears in court for a preliminary hearing in Morgan County. And following flooding in other areas, folks here in the mountains are using lessons learned to give back to victims of Hurricane Helene.
And we're seeing a mixture of sun and clouds out there at this hour. Had a few little blips of rain on the radar. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
The former sheriff of Letcher County, Mickey Steins, had his preliminary hearing in Morgan County this afternoon. This comes after he was accused of shooting and killing District Judge Kevin Mullins last month. He pleaded not guilty during his arraignment last week. WYMT's Amelia Lee joins us now live from West Liberty. Amelia, what went on in the courtroom today?
Former Sheriff Mickey Steins was taken into the courtroom with handcuffs on before the preliminary hearing started today. This was Steins' first in-person appearance since he attended his arraignment virtually. Today, prosecutors presented some of the evidence explaining why Steins has been charged with murder. And we do want to make it clear that the purpose of today's testimony was not for the community to determine whether or not he is guilty or innocent, but rather it was for the court to determine whether there is enough evidence to continue on with the court process. Of the evidence presented, the most notable piece shown during Mickey Steins' preliminary hearing was arguably the surveillance video from District Judge Kevin Mullins' office. The video was reportedly recorded on the day he was shot and killed. About 15 seconds of that video was played in the courtroom. As a station, WYMT has chosen not to play that video due to its graphic nature. Here is some of the testimony provided about that video.
In investigation of that death, were you able to determine who killed Kevin Mullins?
Yes.
And how were you able to do that?
Video surveillance footage.
And did you retrieve that video surveillance footage?
I did.
Kentucky State Police Detective Clayton Stanford was the only person who testified during the hearing. He was asked multiple questions about what took place the hours before Mullins was shot and killed inside his chambers, including a lunch between Steins, Mullins, and other people.
And there was nothing unusual that had arisen during that luncheon?
I was told that the judge made a statement to Mickey about, do we need to meet private in my chambers? That's all I was told.
While testifying, Stanford said there were 4 witnesses from the day of the shooting who have since been interviewed by police.
They heard gunshots.
Okay, was there any statements that they overheard?
No.
Were there raised voices?
One person stated that she didn't recognize him as being Judge Mullins' voice, but heard somebody say, "Help, help."
Jeremy Bartley is Steins' attorney. He spoke briefly after the preliminary hearing about other witnesses.
This was a 1 sentence or 2 sentence citation on a murder, and there were a lot of additional witnesses. I would have expected they would have interviewed by now. I was surprised that they hadn't, but at any rate, we'll address that in circuit court in the discovery process.
At the end of the hearing, the judge said he did find probable cause for the murder charge, so now the case will be sent to a grand jury. Bartley did ask the judge if it could be considered manslaughter in the first degree instead of murder due to extreme emotional response from Stein. But again, the judge did say that there was probable cause to proceed with that murder charge. In Morgan County, Amelia Lee, WYMT Mountain News.
Amelia, thank you. Steins' attorney said he was given more of the video surveillance footage of the day the shooting took place. He told us that more of that video may be introduced if the case goes to trial. A new sheriff has been sworn in Letcher County. Earlier today, Billy Jones took the oath of office before Letcher County Judge Executive Terry Adams. The move is effective immediately. This comes after Mickey Steins retired as the sheriff of Letcher County yesterday. In Laurel County, 2 men are facing charges after being accused of stealing various items worth more than $150,000. Deputies with the sheriff's office obtained multiple search warrants and were able to obtain equipment that was stolen, including tractors, trailers, and generators. The items were found in the Johnson Road and Langnau areas of the county. Scott Fowler and Raymond Burkhead were taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A man is facing charges after police discovered he had reportedly been trafficking a large amount of meth in Laurel County. London PD's Drug Interdiction Unit arrested 47-year-old James Burke. In their investigation, officers were able to find Burke and determine he had a large quantity of meth in his possession. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center.
Well, some places across the area seeing a little bit of sunshine, while other places seeing some cloud cover. Here's the scene in Pikeville where we're seeing more clouds than sun at this hour. The London Corbin Airport right now, you can see we're seeing some cloudy skies at this time as well. And then we take a look here at the temperatures across the area. We are in the 60s and 70s, 69 in Pikeville, 70 in Hazard, 73 in Manchester. Over towards London, seeing a temperature of 74, 77 is the current temperature over towards the Monticello area. All right, here's the latest now with live pinpoint Doppler radar, and you're noticing as we go throughout the time span, see a rogue shower across portions of Perry County, right over Hazard, as a matter of fact. A little bit of a splash and dash shower across portions of Whitley and McCreary County, but that's it in terms of any rainfall at this hour. Now, the rain chances will continue as we go throughout the next few hours. We'll see temperatures in the mid-60s by 1 a.m., low 60s by 7 a.m. And when you wake up in the morning, we'll see temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s. But if you look real close on the map right here, there's your cold front, and that's our weather maker for tomorrow. We'll talk about that in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, it will be nice to dry out a little bit. Thank you very much, Eric. Powell County was one of several Kentucky counties to see numerous power outages and damage from Friday storms. Some businesses and organizations are still without power, but managing to get by. Judge Executive Eddie Barnes says they have been doing a lot of damage surveys and says those are sent in to see if a federal state of emergency can be declared. If that happens, FEMA can step in to help anyone in the area with damage to their homes.
I would love to be able to go out there and help them cut it off, and get them back into normal routine. But unfortunately, we can't do that.
Animal Control Officer Justin Wright says some of their kennels were also damaged, but he feels grateful things were not even worse. Officials with Kentucky Power provided an update regarding power restoration today. In the release, officials say more than 44,000 customers were left without power at the peak of last Friday's events. More than 1,000 personnel, business partners, and external resources have been working to get the power back on. Officials also say that at least 95% of their customers have had their power restored as of last night. This afternoon, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear was joined by advocates and victims to declare October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the Commonwealth. A 2016-2017 National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey found that in Kentucky, more than 4 in 10 women and nearly 3 in 10 men have experienced intimate partner violence in their lifetime. Governor Beshear says it's time for a change. We are now in October, of course, and that means the November election is right around the corner. There are 5 weeks until Election Day on November 5th, but you are running out of time if you have not registered to vote in Kentucky. The deadline for that is next Monday, October 7th at 4 p.m. Those who are eligible can register online, by mail, or in person. And we want to remind you, applications for the WYMT Mountain Classic Scholarship are still open. You have until 5 p.m. on October 4th to submit those applications, so time is quickly running out. In addition to the WYMT Mountain Classic Scholarship, you can also submit applications for the Ralph Gabbard Memorial Scholarship and the Tony Turner Memorial Scholarship. Students who want to apply should submit their applications to their guidance counselor prior to the deadline. We have more about this at WYMT.com.
Headlines for tonight, rain chances, although they're in the forecast now, they're going to exit out of here. Hello, sunshine, our old friend, and welcome to October. We'll talk about all this coming up in just a few minutes. Stay with us.